Hi, this is the Teaserking coming to you with this week's picks of the week for November 23rd, 2010. I'm going to have two college games I'll give you, and I'm going to talk in general about handicapping. And one of these picks is a very high-level handicapping pick, how to handicap. You've heard of Math 101. Well, this will be handicapping 501. This will be the master's level course in handicapping. Yesterday I locked the Bears, which was a good pick. They had the third string quarterback playing for Miami. With that defense, there was no way they were going to blow out Miami, and I couldn't believe Miami was actually favored in the game. Also, the trend on Miami was they're terribly. If you play against them as a home favorite, it's like 12-1 since 2007. They're a lousy home favorite. The Bears are a strong road dog, which is one of the more advanced things you're looking for in handicapping, is going, the strength against the weakness. So you got a great road dog, the Bears, a terrible home favorite, the Dolphins. And I didn't expect a shutout, but I was very happy with the points. Okay, the game I like to talk about, the first one is going to be Clemson versus Wake Forest. The game's in Wake Forest. However, when you look at the numbers and you look at many different angles, the play here is Clemson. First of all, Clemson's laying 13, so you can cut it to 7. First of all, Clemson plays them very, very well. Let's take a look at Clemson here. When they're at Wake, excuse me, I thought it was at the page. Clemson against Wake. Last year they won 38-3. 2 years ago, 44-10, and then 27-17. They don't have a problem with them. 2 years ago at Wake, they did lose 12-7, and Wake was ranked number 21. But they don't normally have a problem with Wake. So that's the first thing, is the matchup looks like it's good for Clemson. The next thing is Clemson's 5-5 overall. Wake's only 2-8. Well, big deal, 5-5. But the reason I like Clemson here is they have to win this game to be bowl eligible. 6 wins is bowl eligible. Who do they got next week? South Carolina, who just clinched the SEC East. So you're looking at a very strong South Carolina team. Clemson is not that strong this year. We'll have trouble beating them. This is their chance for the bowl game. Clemson will be highly focused on this game. So they want to get to the bowl. It means a lot of money. So this is advanced. Now you're looking at, they need 6 wins for the bowl. They're only laying 7 points. When you look at Wake Forest this year, they're terrible. They've been getting blown out. Last week they got blown out by North Carolina State. Let's go inside the numbers. Clemson would be a road favorite. Well, this year Clemson is 7-1 against the number in a teaser overall. 15-5 the last 2 years, and that's about it. They're not a real strong road favorite. They're 3-3 through last year, 4-5 for the last 2 years. This isn't their best role, but the play is we're going against Wake Forest. You go against Wake Forest now. Wake Forest is 3-6 against the number this year. They're 3-1 as a home dog since 2008. So they don't play as a home dog too. They're 7-1 as a home dog since 2006. So they might, getting 13 and you knock them to 19, they might be able to cover that possibly. But I like the other way around, and here's why. Wake is 9-0 if you go against them, 3-0 as a home dog this year. The last 2 years, they're 18-2 if you go against them, 4-0 as a home dog, 10-0 at home if you go against them, 6-0 as a favorite, and 4-0 as a dog. So every time Wake's at home, if you go against them, you win. 10-0, 18-2. And you go back to 2008, and they're 16-1 if you go against them at home. And 27-6, or 82% since 2008. We take it back a little further. We take it to 2006, and they're 23-5 if you go against them. They're 6-2 as a home dog. So Wake Forest at home does not win. They don't pull the upset, and this year they're a very, very weak team. The last 2 years, 18-2. They went to Stanford and gave up 60 on Stanford. I know Clemson isn't the top Clemson team that we're used to, but they have enough firepower here and enough incentive for the bowl, and they're scared of South Carolina, and they match up well against them. Wake Forest has a terrible quarterback this year. They're not scoring a lot of points. North Carolina State beat them 38-3. North Carolina State's defense is not that good. So I look for Clemson. They've been playing tough. They've been playing North Carolina tough, Miami, Florida State, winning and losing by a couple points. I look for them to pour it on. This is a game they have to have for the bowl against a team that is terrible. The Wake's just not as good. They just don't have a good quarterback. So that'll be the first game, is take Clemson, lay the 7. The second game, a little bit different, but same thing, is Michigan State's laying 19 to Purdue at Michigan State. We're taking Michigan State laying 13, and we're locking this game. First of all, Purdue's got their 4th-string quarterback in. They do not score a lot of points. They only scored, I think, 13 on Michigan last week. That shows you how bad they are. At home, they scored 13 on Michigan. Michigan's terrible defense, and I think they scored on a blocked punt. I don't even think they had offense. They have their 4th-string quarterback in. They have no running attack, no passing attack. Michigan State wants to win the Big Ten, wants to go to the Rose Bowl. They must win this game and hope Iowa beats Ohio State. 19 points, you cut them to 13 is not a lot. Michigan State, they don't really run up the numbers, but they were off last week, and I look for them to put a good 30 or 40 on Purdue here, and Purdue will not score that much. Let's go into the matchup. And when we look at how Michigan State plays Purdue, and I already know Michigan State blows them out, but I want to get you some scores here. And against Purdue, they beat them 40-37 last year, 21-7 2 years ago at home, 48-31 there, and then they lost 17-15 in 06. So the last 3 years, they've beaten them pretty good. 48-31 and 21-7 at home. Normally the spreads aren't that big. Here you're getting a 19-point favorite. Definitely with the injury to the quarterback is critical to this bet. Purdue will not have the offense to stay with them, and nor do they have the defense really to stop Michigan State, who's very balanced, good quarterbacking, good running attack. They will not want to keep the game close. They will not want to lose it and miss the chance to go to Rose Bowl. Possible BCS on the line. If they win this game, they have Penn State the following week. If Ohio State loses to Iowa, Michigan could beat Wisconsin tomorrow. Anyway, so I like that. Let's go inside the numbers then real quickly, and I'll get back to the other 2 games. Let's look at Michigan State as a home favorite. 4-0 this year, 8-1 through 09, and 14-1 through 08, and 18-6 through 06. So really when Dan Antonio got there, so let's look at 08 when they're his players. He's 14-1 as a home favorite. That's Big Ten, that's everything. He's 27-7, he's 79%. He goes, he's at home, he covers. They beat Wisconsin at home. They won at Michigan. Their only tough time was at Iowa, and I think that was just one of those days. It was terrible quarterbacking, and I think he's learned by that. Purdue doesn't have nearly the defense that Iowa does. Go against Michigan State. They're 7-2 going against them as a home favorite. 11-3 since 08 if you go against them as a home favorite. 21-5 against them. That's a pretty good trend since 06, but I think the better trend is 14-1 as a home favorite. They tend to win the games around the spread, so they're laying 10, they'll win by 12, 14, so you can go either way and win with them. They're not this 50-point win, which is what Ohio State likes to do. Ohio State likes to cover. They did it against Penn State again. I don't know how they covered. They're down 14-3, 2 pick sixes, another long touchdown, and there you go, he covers. One thing they do very well, they know the point spread. So Michigan State should be around the number. They're laying 19. Look for them to win by 23, 24 points, maybe 30 here. Let's look at Purdue on the road. Purdue 2-2 this year, 5-3 overall. Purdue's 4-4 on the road, 7-6 since 08, 12-8 since 06. This is not, they do average on the road. Let's look at them against. This year, they're 7-1 against, 3-1 as a road dog. They are 5-3 since 09, 9-4, and 14-6 since 08, since 06. Not huge trends. Like, we're betting against Purdue because they're a weak road dog. There are teams like that. They're not. More or less, we're looking at this year. We're looking at the fourth-string quarterback. We're looking at Michigan State needs this game to win the Big Ten, to go to the BCS. They cannot afford to lose, and they're playing very well, and they're off a bye. I just look for them to really light it up against Purdue. So those are my picks. Take Clemson laying 7. We're more playing against Wake Forest in the fact Clemson needs to win to go to the bowl than we are saying Clemson's this great team, they're going to blow them out. I just think Wake Forest is so bad, and versus the number, and all I got to do is win by 7. And the same thing with Michigan State. We have them at home. Michigan State's very good, and Purdue's very weak this year with the fourth-string quarterback. They lost the best runner, and they're not scoring points on Michigan, so how are they going to score them on Michigan State? So sometimes you play against the team. I do that a lot. Some weak teams are San Jose State and Memphis and Purdue here, Wake Forest, and you just play against them. That's what you do. Now at this time of year, you look for teams that, like Clemson, that need the game to go to the bowl. It's very critical. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of practice time. So they want to do this. At this point, you can see the injuries piling up. You're going to want to go against teams because they're injured. You're going to want to take certain teams because they need the bowl, they need the title, they need the BCS. Game tonight with Boise State. They're laying 29.5 to Fresno State. And the play's almost to go against Boise and take Fresno State in 36, and I can't do it. I've one rule: I don't go against the best team. I will not go against Boise State unless it was like TCU getting 30. Then I would have no problem with that. But in this game, I just think it's too much. I think Fresno State's a very good team. I don't think they're bad, and they run the ball well, which is not Boise's Achilles, but it'll run the clock and keep the score close. I look for Boise to probably win by 20 to 30 points here. I just think the spread's a little bit too high to play Boise in this game. Other games, I try to look for strong road dogs and strong home dogs. An example is Ohio State plays Iowa. When I look at the matchup, initially I look at Iowa as the dog, and I go, they're at home, they're the dog. I look at the trend versus the two teams, and Ohio State wins the game all the time. That bothers me here. So that keeps me from locking Iowa. But I like Iowa at home, getting 9. They lost to Wisconsin by 1. They killed Michigan State there. They killed Penn State there. Even against Arizona, who's a very good team, they made a strong comeback. I don't think they'll get killed in this game. Ohio State, Iowa's defense is too strong. They have a senior quarterback, and the running back is back. I know they lost to Northwestern, but they always lose to Northwestern. It's the spread offense. It doesn't match up well with them. Ohio State doesn't run the same, and I just don't see Ohio State just blowing them out at Iowa. I don't see that. I think it's a 3-point game, maybe 24-21, 27-24, but I don't see Ohio State blowing out Iowa. I can see Iowa winning better than I can see Ohio State. If they blew out Michigan State, I got to give them credit. So they'll be in the game. Other games I stay away from are like Nebraska laying 3 at A&M. It's a very hard game. They're a road favorite. A&M's a good team. I don't like to go against Nebraska, but I don't like Nebraska in this role as a small road favorite. This is where a lot of teams are getting killed. Last week I took Utah. I couldn't believe they lost to Notre Dame as a small road favorite against a freshman quarterback. It was unbelievable. I didn't realize they'd still have the hangover from TCU. I was very surprised by that. This week I am playing Utah. They own San Diego State. If they lose this game, they'll have lost 2 in a row. They're not going to lose 3 in a row against the team they always kill. I know San Diego State